Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be a little bit more chatty maybe than normal. I want to edit out less and just really have a candid discussion about shadow work. And the reason why is because when we're starting to talk about 2023 goal setting, for me, I want this channel to be about self-development, self-mastery, self-discovery. You can't do that and ignore shadow work. And I want to share because this past year was difficult for me. I lost my mother. I moved across the country. I am young and single, so I'm also dating, and there have been times where my life has felt like a shit show. And I feel like I did a lot my past few years. I did a lot of blaming my problems and insecurities and other things on other people and not bearing the responsibility of my life the way that I should have, in the way that is empowering to me. And it's funny because my mom would always say, you are the only one that's responsible for you. And she would say that when it came to making decisions about my life and what I was going to do, and especially about sex and things like that. And I think that I didn't listen as much as I should have, and I didn't listen, and it didn't benefit me. And so I want to make this video because I want to talk about this and share my journey. Because if you are out there and you're struggling, you're dealing with depression, anxiety, you're just unsure of where you're going and what you're doing, then I think that this discussion will be very helpful. Shadow work is all about working with your unconscious mind and uncovering or discovering the things about you that you are hiding from yourself. And I think that this is really important because I love psychological discussions. I love intellectual discussions. And I've talked to therapists, and I've talked to counselors, and I've talked to different people. And I notice a lot of people say things that just feed into this narrative that I wanted to believe, that I think a lot of us want to believe, and it's that we are powerless and we just have to work with the cards we're dealt, or work with the situation that we're given. And when I sat myself down and said, like, Imani, this is a hard time, you're sad, you miss your mom, you feel uprooted and alone and just unsure, but what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? And when I sat myself down and I asked that question, I feel like the universe started giving me all these keys and all these signs and showed me how strong and powerful I actually am, and that everything that I need is out there. All the skills I need, all the tools I need. I can have anything that I want, anything that I desire, but it's just a matter of being in alignment with my desires. And it's impossible, I found it impossible to want a beautiful life, to want happiness, to want success and marriage and family and beautiful relationships, friendships, a business, and to want all of these things but still have so much self-doubt and self-pity within myself. And I was like, how in the world how am I going to get the life that I want if I'm sit here stuck in this doom and gloom and feeling so sorry for myself. How am I going to get out of this, and how am I going to get how am I going to turn this around? How am I going to get the life that I want? I dealt with depression probably for the past 8 years. I would say that the past year, 2022, I think the beginning of 2022, I really started healing those wounds. And this channel, I want to kind of get back. I'm even trying to discover how I healed those things, but I know that shadow work was one of the things that really helped heal wounds that I didn't even know was there. I didn't want to acknowledge what the root cause of those issues were, and this was the key. And the past 8 years, I was stuck in depression. I was attracting terrible people into my life, terrible friends, like other friends were pushing themselves away from me, people that I loved, and that hurt a lot. And I was attracting people that were just really toxic and were constantly telling me what I couldn't have and how I could do no better than whatever they were giving me. And it just got ridiculous. It was like I woke up one day and I was like, you are the problem. I had to tell myself, I was like, you are the problem. Like, how in the world is everyone in your life so negative and it's not you? How? Because when I tell you guys, I was even attracting negative energy on social media. I was attracting negative videos on YouTube. Obviously, there's an algorithm, but I was feeding myself all of this negativity, and then I was wondering why my life just was in shambles. But when my mom died, I just dedicated myself to healing, really healing. And it's a journey. I'm not done, but I have made progress, leaps and bounds over where I was when I started. Like, I didn't just heal things. I feel like I quantum leaped to just another level of human consciousness and a state of being that's not just happier. It's just a state of being that is just contentment, and just noticing. And I say this because I'm noticing that I have a lot less triggers than I had previously. I still get triggered, so I still have things to work through, but when you can just objectively hear people out, that is when you have reached another level. Even if they completely disagree with you and you love these people, when you can listen to people that you love completely disagree with you or say something that's just outlandish, and you're just like, you can come from a place of understanding and hear them out, that's when you've reached another level. So I just wanted to explain that. So shadow work. I read this book that broke it down further like this: thinking of ourselves and our mind as castle, and like the shadows in our lives as, so it's a castle with a ton of rooms, and all of these rooms are different parts of our personality and our being. A room for you, like a room for me is like that goofy side of myself. That would be a room. A room for me would be that creative side of myself. A room of for my sexual being. A room for the part of me that loves food. Just a room for all of these different parts of you. And when you go really deep into this, you come to acknowledge that you have rooms in you for everything. you have a room in you that is selfish. You have a room in you that is greedy, a room in you that is loving, a room in you that is nurturing. And we all have these parts of ourselves inside of ourselves, but sometimes we close rooms. We close the door, we put a lock on it, and we shut down. And they become shadows. I'm going to try to explain this the way I heard it explained before, but when we are working to be self-aware beings, that means that we have to be able to see all the parts of ourselves to be self-aware, right? You can't say you're self-aware, but you're not willing to see that you are a liar. You constantly lie. You want to be self-aware, but you don't want to acknowledge or hear that you say this word constantly, or that you berate people, or insert something in there. And when you create shadows, when you close parts of yourself off, you aren't able to see those things. They just become somewhere in the back of your mind. And that the hard part of it is that doesn't mean that they don't exist or that they don't still play a role in your life, but you're just no longer shining light on it. And that is really negative, because those are the things that cause us to be triggered. Those are the things that come out at the wrong time. Those things are the things where you will up and say the wrong thing, and then you'll wonder why you said that or why you did that. And I know plenty of examples in my life where I was creating shadows, especially for me, around my around so many things, around money, around sex, around relationships, around, I could, the list goes on all day. And I would notice that, for example, with money, creating a shadow with money, I would go really hard. I was really good at saving money. I would always hide it from myself. And one of my shadows was that I didn't believe that money could come to me easily, and that money could stay with me for a long time. I didn't believe that I was a money magnet. I just felt like I had to work really hard to have anything that I had, and then that there was still a scarcity. And the problem with that was that I would have these moments where I would just pay off debt and create a big savings, and then I would just have these moments where I would just binge spend. Not anything too crazy, but I would just spend more money than I was planning on spending, and then I would be really down on myself. I wouldn't understand where that came from. But I had it multiple times. It would come up. I would do really well for a little while, and then spend way too much money and just not being able to stick to a plan. And it's because I still had so many shadows around money, and so much fear around money, and so much scarcity in my mind around money. And so healing that part of myself, now feeling healed and feeling like I can attract money, and money is not something that owns me, but money is just a tool, and I can use it and I can spend it and all of that. And it gets to be easy, and it gets to be fun, and it gets to be a tool that helps me to enjoy life. I noticed that I haven't binge spent money. Is that what you even call it? I haven't just frivolously thrown money away. I know that there are areas where I can still improve the way that I save and invest, but I no longer feel that constriction. I don't feel like I have to avoid spending it. I don't feel like I have to spend it. I just feel like I can learn and be inquisitive about what I should do with it, and just let it be. And it's gonna be okay. I'm not gonna go broke tomorrow or not have everything that I need. It just gets to be easy, and it gets to be fun. And I think that that's the thing that I am learning about life, is that it really should be fun. Because I saw when it wasn't fun for people that I loved, it made them sick, gave them cancer, and I just don't want that for myself. So I think that this is important to living a whole happy life, is understanding our shadows and healing them. So I want to share one of the exercises that I did, and I'm wondering, maybe I'll like link some, or maybe I'll put some journal prompts in the description box to help you guys if you want to start doing shadow work. I think that there are videos out there for shadow work. There are guided meditations, there are things like that, and I'm telling you that it is worth it. And one exercise I did, I thought was really powerful, was exercise of writing down all of my perceived liabilities. So writing down anything I view that happened to me that would hinder me from getting the life that I want, having the relationship that I want, or anything that I felt made me less valuable. I would write all of them down. And this was, huge for me because it was a moment for me to be honest with myself. I didn't want to acknowledge all of the things in my life that I felt held me back, or all the shadows that I had, or all the ways I felt unworthy. And so sitting down and just writing it out and looking at it and being honest with myself, I was able to take that X liability. So one of my liabilities I felt I had that would stop me from having a loving and lasting relationship is my career, and feeling like because my career does not always keep me in the same place, I wouldn't be able to find a good man that would be able or willing to deal with that. And obviously I had wounds around money as well, so also like having a situation where we're not strapped for money and not stressed out about having enough and all of that. I thought that was going to hold me back from being able to have that type of relationship, and I wrote it down. I wrote down other things, and then I took the next page and I took each liability and I wrote a different narrative around it. So if I felt like my career would hold me back, my new story to myself was that my career would be the thing that would attract exactly the man that I want, exactly the man that I need, and there would be no issues or qualms with money. That just wouldn't even be an issue. And I just chose to believe it, and I did that for each liability. I wrote it down, wrote it differently, and said that no, this is what I get to have regardless of my experience. And that changed a lot. It is continuing to change a lot. So when it comes to shadow work, one thing is affirming, being okay with your shadow, being just understanding that it's okay for a part of you to be selfish, or a part of you to be greedy, or a part of you to be, it just is. But that does not mean that you have to act on those things, right? So just being okay with that part of you that might not be extremely beautiful or perfect or meeting society's standard, but that is you, and you love all parts of you. And affirming that new narrative that you want to set for yourself. So writing those new stories down, and then having affirmations around them, that was and continues to be really helpful. Because when it comes to shadow work, you're literally trying to change narratives that you have locked away in your mind for maybe 26 years, maybe 10 years, maybe 5 years, but for years, decades even. And so you're gonna have to do a lot of work to affirm new narratives. I just want to say that to encourage you. And as I'm on this journey, I'm realizing that new things come up. I'm also realizing that I am still not perfect, even if I feel like I've healed and made a lot of progress. I'm still not perfect. I'm a work in progress. And that's okay. That's beautiful. That's the beautiful thing about it, because when life gets to be fun, it means that there's no need to be perfect. Just enjoy the moment and enjoy this life that you have, and try your best to learn as much as possible. So I feel like that's a freedom that shadow work gave me. I don't know if I have anything else to say about shadow work, but I will leave some of the journal prompts that I used in the description box, or create a Google Doc. I don't know yet. I'll leave that in the description box. But this, I would say, if you're trying to really master yourself and really change your life over this next year, then I would say take the time to do this. This is not easy. This is not an easy process, and honestly things might come up that might keep you sad for a little while, but just roll with the punches and really know that the end result is going to be a better version of you. Promise that. Don't be afraid of your shadows. They are not here to hurt you. Honestly, a lot of them are here to protect you, or you made them shadows to protect yourself, and that's okay. You're not perfect. You're not here to be perfect. If you were perfect, honestly, there would be nothing to learn, because you already know. So just go easy on yourself. I'm trying to go easy on myself, and let's just keep developing and keep learning. Yep. So hope this video was helpful.